The smartphone in your pocket, the GPS guiding your way, and the internet connecting you to the world, these everyday technologies owe their origins to one of the most intense periods in history, the Cold War. This wasn't just a time of political tension and military standoffs, it was a fierce battle to outdo the other side in every possible way, including technology. The rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union wasn't just about who had the bigger army or more powerful weapons. It was also about who could push the boundaries of science and innovation further. During the Cold War, both nations were driven by a need to prove their superiority, not just through ideology, but through technological advancements. This competition led to groundbreaking innovations that have shaped the modern world in ways many of us don't even realize. In this video, we will look into how the Cold War's high-stakes rivalry didn't just shape geopolitics, but also resulted in the technology that defines our lives today. From the arms race to the space race, we'll explore how this era gave birth to the gadgets and systems we can't live without. At the heart of the Cold War was a clash of ideologies, capitalism versus communism. The United States championed capitalism, where businesses are privately owned and people have the freedom to make their own economic choices. On the other side, the Soviet Union stood for communism, a system where the state controls everything, aiming for an equal society without class distinctions. This ideological battle wasn't just about politics or economics, it was about proving which system was superior. Both nations believed that the success of their way of life depended on defeating the other, and this belief fueled a competition like no other. The United States wanted to show that capitalism led to prosperity and innovation, while the Soviet Union wanted to prove that communism could build a strong and fair society. This rivalry drove both countries to push the limits in every field, especially technology. They wanted to prove that their system could produce the best scientists, the most advanced machines, and the most powerful weapons. This wasn't just about national pride, it was about convincing the rest of the world that their way was the right way. The result? A race to develop new technologies that would showcase the strengths of their ideologies, which lead to inventions that we still use today. The Cold War saw the United States and the Soviet Union locked in a terrifying arms race. Both sides were obsessed with building up their military power, fearing that the other might strike first. The most chilling part of this race was the development of nuclear weapons. After the United States dropped atomic bombs on Japan during World War II, the Soviet Union was determined to catch up. By 1949, they had successfully tested their own atomic bomb, and the arms race began in earnest. This wasn't just about who had the most weapons, but who had the most powerful and advanced ones. Both countries poured immense resources into developing new military technologies, including missiles that could deliver nuclear warheads halfway around the world. This led to the creation of intercontinental ballistic missiles, ICBMs, which could strike targets thousands of miles away in minutes. The fear of mutually assured destruction, knowing that if one side launched an attack, the other would respond with equal or greater force, kept both nations in a tense standoff. But the arms race also had a silver lining. Many of the technologies developed for military purposes found their way into civilian life. For example, the need for reliable and fast communication during a potential nuclear conflict led to advancements in computers and the early development of the internet. The drive to create more accurate missile guidance systems also pushed forward the development of GPS technology, which we now use every day to navigate our world. The nuclear race during the Cold War wasn't just about building bigger bombs, it was a massive push for scientific discovery. After the Soviet Union successfully tested its first atomic bomb, both the US and the USSR realized that science was key to staying ahead in this dangerous game. This led to a huge investment in scientific research, especially in physics, chemistry, and engineering. Scientists on both sides were tasked with finding ways to make nuclear weapons more powerful, more reliable, and more precise. But as they worked on these deadly technologies, they also made discoveries that had peaceful applications. For example, research into nuclear reactions helped develop nuclear power plants, which provide electricity to millions of homes today. The intense study of radiation also led to advancements in medicine, such as radiation therapy for treating cancer. The nuclear race also pushed the boundaries of what was possible in science. It led to the creation of particle accelerators, which are still used today to study the fundamental building blocks of the universe. In a way, the competition to build the most destructive weapons ended up driving some of the most important scientific advances of the 20th century. While the nuclear race was a terrifying aspect of the Cold War, it greatly shaped our modern world in ways we often overlook. The space race was one of the most dramatic and publicized parts of the Cold War. It was a battle to prove which superpower was the true leader in science and technology, and it played out far above the Earth's surface. The Soviet Union struck first with the launch of Sputnik in 1957, the world's first artificial satellite. This achievement sent shockwaves through the United States, which suddenly realized it was behind in the race to conquer space. In response, the US ramped up its space program, leading to the creation of NASA. The competition between the two nations was fierce, and it pushed both to achieve things that had previously been considered impossible. The Soviets continued to lead for a while, sending the first human, Yuri Gagarin, into space in 1961, but the United States wasn't far behind, and in 1969, they achieved the ultimate victory in the space race when astronaut Neil Armstrong became the first person to walk on the moon. The space race wasn't just about national pride, it led to real technological advancements that still benefit us today. The development of rocket technology, for instance, laid the groundwork for modern satellite communications, GPS, and even weather forecasting. The competition also led to the miniaturization of electronics, as space missions required smaller, more efficient devices, something that eventually led to today's computers and smartphones. The rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union during the Cold War wasn't limited to just space and military technology. It extended into every area of technology, driving innovations in fields like computing, communications, and transportation. Each superpower wanted to outdo the other in every possible way, and this competition led to some of the most significant technological advancements of the 20th century. For example, the US developed early computer systems to help with code breaking and military logistics. These efforts led to the creation of the first electronic computers, which later evolved into the powerful machines we use today. The Soviets, on the other hand, focused on advancements in aviation and engineering, creating advanced jet engines and missile technology. Both sides also poured resources into developing new materials and technologies that could give them an edge. The US pioneered the development of the internet, which started as a military communication network and eventually became the global system we all rely on today. Meanwhile, the Soviet Union made strides in space station technology, which laid the groundwork for long-term human habitation in space. This technological rivalry went beyond just the desire to win. It was about proving the superiority of each side's way of life. The Cold War might have ended decades ago, but its impact on modern technology is still very much alive. Many of the technologies we take for granted today have their roots in this intense period of competition between the US and the Soviet Union. The internet, for instance, started as a military project to ensure secure communication during a possible nuclear war. Today, it's the backbone of our global communication and information sharing systems. Satellite technology, which was developed during the space race, now powers everything from GPS to television broadcasts. Even the push for miniaturization in electronics during the Cold War has led to the development of the powerful, portable devices we use every day, like smartphones and laptops. In many ways, the Cold War forced both superpowers to push the boundaries of what was possible, leading to breakthroughs that continue to influence our lives. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more deep dives into history and technology.